All righty. Hey, we are live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the new Wednesday show. Uh, as you guys know, we have talked about it, and we're moving on here. You got Oscar, you got Michael, and we're gonna take this going forward. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to bringing the same content that you were used to, but actually spinning it and getting maybe a little bit deeper than we normally would get to, and then looking at a lot of different avenues uh, as we go forward. Bringing on guests, getting suggestions from you guys. If you're gonna watch us, you might as well have somewhat of a say, or give us ideas of what we can bring to you guys, because that's what we're here for. We're here for you guys. So with that, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Welcome everyone to the Wednesday show.
The Wednesday show.
The show that is on Wednesday. The reselling show that lands in the middle of the week.
That's right.
We don't know what we're gonna name the show, but we're definitely gonna have a lot of the same content that we had before. If there's anybody who's watching this and is interested in reselling business, just quick disclaimer: I'm not a guru, all right. But the one thing that I can share with everybody is the experiences and the success that I have had in the past 2 years that I've been reselling since I opened up my account on Amazon. As a matter of fact, in 2 weeks, I didn't even think about it. In 2 weeks, it's going to be 2 years.
Oh, wow.
March 19th is going to be 2 years since I opened up my account on Amazon. And last year I did fantastic. So I'm hoping that, that we can take this show and make it into something that anybody who's interested in, using or having reselling as a business, or even as a side hustle, can really get some good information from.
Yeah. So, and think about those things. We thought about it, and we said, we were just throwing some ideas, and we said, well, why not start at the beginning? Let's go ahead and let's get that onion and let's start peeling back the layers, man. But let's start at the beginning, and a lot of people, they get into this and they're not exactly sure what it is. They're like, well, reselling, I see some stuff. It looks kind of easy and stuff. But what is it? What does it go ahead and, what does it take? What is it that you should be thinking of, at first, So again, like Oscar said, we're not gurus, but you know what? We've gone ahead and we've stubbed our toes. We've tripped. We've made some, interesting buys that may not have worked out, along the lines and stuff. And we want to go, share that with you, So when I think about it, and when we talked about the topic, we were talking backstage a little bit, and it was, probably one of the biggest things that I think people don't do right away is kind of figure out what their why is. Why do they want to do this? And here's the great thing about this. And here's the one thing that I love the most about, the reselling is it really is you do what you want to do. You set your goals the way you want them to. Everybody's goal is going to be different, but even though the goal is different, the basic processes are the same, right? But the why, hey, I only want to be able to go, I want to get a new car, so I want to sell enough to where my profits help me pay for a new car, or I want to take my family on one kick-ass vacation every year, so so that's my goal. So I think it's it's along those lines, and stuff like that. And before we get going, before I let you answer, Jeanette Randall, thank you so much for showing. Much appreciated. Much appreciated you being here. But what do you think, Oscar? Is that a good place, a good starting place for people to kick off their reselling journey?
Yeah, when someone's thinking about starting a reselling business, I think it's definitely one of the most important things for somebody to consider. What is it they're planning to accomplish with starting, as we were talking about before we started the show? What is it that a person is planning to accomplish from starting a reselling business? Are they trying to make extra money to pay for college, right? Are they trying to buy a car? Or are they using it just to make a little extra income from themselves and their family, or are they really trying to grow it into a full-time business, as in my case, right? So when I first started and I started reselling, I was thinking about just making a little bit of extra money, right? To help. I was, in school, I have mortgage payments, number of bills, just have a little bit extra cushion in my pocket in order, to better my situation, not just for me, but for my family as well. And then after a couple months down the line, I saw that it was going rather well for me. So I decided to, this possibly could be something that I can do full time. In addition to that, it's something that I, at times, because we got to be completely honest, there are things that a person enjoys about reselling, and there are things that nobody likes about reselling, right? In the beginning, for me, throughout the learning process, I was fortunate enough to be enjoying everything that I was learning, right? I enjoyed the hunt, sourcing, whether it's retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, you're buying from a manufacturer, yard sales, estate sales, et cetera, et cetera. Those things I really enjoyed, and then seeing a number of orders, that came in, it's enjoyable, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I never enjoyed was listing.
Right.
Listing, all right. The problem for me has always been and continues to be listing, right?
Yeah.
I was selling on eBay. I've always had an eBay account for a very long time. It wasn't active for a while, but I did buy stuff on eBay. But Amazon makes it very simple, because you're scanning a product and you're getting it listed. So it was then at that point that once I saw that I could have, decent income from both of these platforms, that I started to consider, I can really turn this into a business once I've developed a process.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that's, that's the one thing that I think a lot of people, I think the first misconception of reselling is that it's easy and it's easy to make money doing it, right? So it's not like it's an easy job, right? And then it's also like, wow, it's so super easy to go ahead and make money and stuff. And those two things are, I mean, they're not completely true. They're not completely, false. Yes, a lot of this stuff is not very difficult to do. You go out, you look at something, you grab your phone, you look up this item, and you go, oh my gosh, I can buy it for 50 cents and it sells a lot for $25. Holy cow, right? So I mean, there's things like that they're not like very difficult to do. The hard part is doing it consistently. And putting the work in and putting the work in and putting the work in. We've always said, there's people that do it full time, there's people that do it part time. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of people that do it part time, they're putting in full time effort. Cool, it's everything. So when you're thinking about starting that business, understand, again, take it for what it's worth. And we say business, starting a reselling business, because I think personally, even if it's a hobby, you should still treat it that way, because you're still selling something to a customer. And a customer doesn't see Oscar. A customer doesn't see Michael. A customer doesn't see, anybody. They see eBay. To them, they're buying it from a company, a big company. They just happen to be doing it online rather than walking into Walmart or walking into Home Depot or something, another type store. So even if whether it's a hobby or whether it's a full-fledged business for you, you needed to go ahead and put in the effort and treat it like a business. Would you agree, disagree?
No, definitely 100%. I mean, for anybody that's watching, I am still a full-time working person from 9 to 5, and then a full-time working person reselling at the same time. So I'm definitely putting the same amount of time into the day job that I have into reselling. So with that mindset, I'm treating it like as if it was a full-time job.
Right.
It's not something that I'm doing for a small amount of time on a daily basis. It's rather a large amount of time on a daily basis and for an extended period because it's all week, right? So I'm definitely treating it like as if it's a full-time job. And I think that that's very important if you want to have some type of growth. For anybody that wants to have it as a hobby, it's fine too, but they'll still find themselves also putting similar amount of time into that, even if they consider it a hobby.
Yep.
I think that for someone that's starting, that's perfect. You can treat it like a hobby. That's fine. You know, you do a little bit here and there, you know, but there may, one of two things is going to happen really, right? They're going to enjoy it and they're going to put more time and effort into it, or
Yep.
they're not going to enjoy it and they're not going to do anything with it. They're just going to completely abandon the process altogether.
Yeah, and I think it's like with a lot of things, if you decide that you want to get into this and you want to start it, understand what you're getting into. I've seen a lot of times where if I'm watching like a in a Discord or in a Facebook group, and you can see that brand new person. I mean, the person whose account the person whose account, if it was a baby, it would still have Similac on its breath, right? I mean, it's a baby account, and the thing is I spent all weekend long. I listed 15 things, and here it is, like Monday, 9:00 in the morning, nothing sold. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing this? What am I doing that? Or everything, and it's like, it's the excitement that you have of, hey man, I'm doing this. I'm saying, but where's the sales coming from? What's going on? I mean, it's like with a lot of other things, you got to be a little patient. You have to go ahead and let it, you keep doing what you're doing, keep working it. It's not one of those things. I think, a lot of people, I understand, there's that two train of thoughts of how many products you list versus how many products you have in your store and so on and so forth. That's for another time down the road and everything. But I think when you're first starting out, getting that rhythm and getting used to doing the things is the way to go. So you understand a flow, so you get a work routine. So it's not one of those things where I do something and then I don't do something for a week and a half and then I do it again, and then try and understand why things aren't necessarily, becoming easier. Well, if you're only doing something once every 2 weeks, it's going to take longer for it to be easier for you. But if you do something more often, things get easier for you. I mean, listing never gets easy per se. I mean, it's one of those, it's the necessary evil, like you said. I mean, it's something you got to go ahead and do. But I think when you're starting out, take your time and be consistent. That's the first thing. And understand, again, what it's going to take. And one thing I see a lot of people doing, I've heard a lot of people doing is that I've been watching videos for some group. I've been watching videos for 3 months. I think I'm ready to go ahead and become a reseller. What do I do? And it's almost like you're going to say, okay, well, what were you watching for the last 3 months? Were you watching reselling videos, or were you just on YouTube going ahead and going down rabbit holes? Were you watching some guy play the piano one day, and the next day you were watching somebody fish, and the next day you were watching somebody, open up baseball cards, or you're actually watching, reselling videos,
Reselling content? Yeah. And I think that somewhere during that learning, right? That learning, because I mean, a lot of people go to YouTube for information, right? They're watching real reselling content. They'll probably go into like the technical part about it, like videos on how to create a listing on eBay or how to open up your Amazon account or Mercari, But before that, somewhere along that process, they're going to decide which avenue they're going to go with their reselling business. Are they going to go, does eBay seem something that, is more appealing to them? Amazon, Mercari, Poshmark, at that point in time, they'll go ahead and they'll decide what is it that they're really going to be reselling? Are they going to start off reselling items that are used? Are they going to do retail arbitrage? Do they happen to know um, a local business, that has products that they would possibly like to put online? So somewhere there, they will decide which route they want to go. eBay, Amazon, Poshmark, Mercari, Bonanza. There's different routes that they want to go. But that's part of the beginning, very beginning, before they even get into the part that opening up an account. Because once you have your account open, it's a whole bunch of number of things that you need to learn. You got to learn the difference in the categories that you're listing in, the importance of competitive pricing. You're going to have to learn shipping, shipping is one that we're going to touch upon on a later video, because for anybody that's new to reselling, if you don't know your shipping can completely destroy your reselling business before it even takes off.
Yep.
It's one of the most important things that anybody that's in e-commerce and reselling online, they need to understand. But once they have their account open, they begin that process, right? And I don't know if you remember when you first listed your first item, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
There's a ton of mistakes, that are being made, but it's important, so the mistakes is where you really learn the most. For me, it was always eBay was the first one. Like, I'll never forget, it was a storage unit that my wife's step uncle had bought. It was a bunch of batteries, right? These were not batteries, but they were energizers for electric fences to keep livestock inside. Little things like that. He sold them to me for like $5 each. I sold them all for $25 on eBay. And then this was my first mistake. I could have made a lot more if I would have understood the shipping better.
Right.
Because as you can imagine, it wasn't the lightest thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I tell you, I get, the one thing I would say is think about when you're getting ready to go ahead and open your account and everything, just, just take a minute and sit down and said, okay, if I list this and it sells, how do I get it to my customer? Right. And if you do that, then you'll go ahead and you'll understand, all the different things you need, because a lot of people don't realize, oh, wow, I need like a box. I may need bubble wrap. Maybe I need tape. Maybe I need this, that, and the other thing, and I think, a lot of people, like you're saying with shipping and stuff, those are the things that go ahead and, hurt people potentially in the beginning. But I think it's when you are, when you're going ahead and you're getting ready to start that business, the why that you start off with. Don't worry about being the final why, right? Because I think when you think about Oscar, I don't know what you like. I look at where I am right now, and I think of what I want to possibly do, 4 years down the road, 5 years down the road, right? I only started thinking about, there you go, a little bit of Cuban coffee. I only started thinking about those types of things now. I didn't start thinking about them when I was started selling on eBay, 3 years ago. It'll be 4 years ago, right? I didn't think about the thoughts I'm having now of where I see this going for me. And again, making it a time where, it is the thing that I am doing to help, earn all the money and not having 2 jobs, basically. I never thought about that 4 years ago. So your why can change, and it's okay that your why changes, but don't be afraid to start small. How do you eat an elephant? You eat an elephant the same way you eat an apple, typically one bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
Yeah.
I'll never forget my first Amazon FBA shipment. the first shipment that I sent to Amazon was literally small box like this.
Yeah.
Right? So I definitely did start off small, just buying stuff from clearance.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, from a standpoint of that, it's a matter of, setting up, again, you're starting off fresh. You don't know what to do. You're looking around. What do I do? What do I do? Oh my gosh, I want to resell. My friend does it. My sister does it. My cousin does it. So on and so forth. When you're starting out, ask questions, but understand, that a lot of people are not going to give you all of the information that is going to be beneficial to you, not because they don't want to, but there are things that you need to learn as you go along the way. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't, you can't, you're not going to be an expert in everything. So don't expect it. It's okay to go ahead and fail. I mean, I remember, like what Oscar was talking about with Amazon stuff. I remember, I was so psyched, found out about a product, went out, man, I was buying it left and right, got it home, boxed it up, sent it to Amazon. By the time it hit Amazon, the price had tanked so much for whatever reason. It was just, it was heartbreaking, right? Here I am, my first time selling stuff in. It's like, oh my gosh. But you know what you do? You use it as a bad buy is only a bad buy if you don't learn from it. If you learn something, then at least it was not 100% bad. It might have been slightly bad, left a little bad taste in your mouth, but it'll go away. You know what I'm saying? Because you learned from it, and that's what you need to do. But starting is the big thing, right? It's starting is getting started. A lot of people sit there and they talk about wanting to do it. I got all these supplies. I got all my poly bags. I got all my boxes. I got tape. I got a scale. I got a this. I got a that. I got box cutters. I got box recycling. I got all this stuff. I got all this stuff. But then they do it. Hey, Texas Bandit, how you doing? Craig, you're in the right place. Rumor has it you could actually start a reselling business with $20. Have you heard about that, Oscar? You can start a reselling business with $20.
You can, definitely.
Cool. Hot Mess Drifter, how you doing? Thanks for coming by. Yeah, you can start. I mean, you start with what you're comfortable with. Don't think you have to. If you are looking at other people and you are watching these videos and you are watching, big resellers who do this who have been doing this for many, many years, it's easy to go ahead and get intimidated by it and think that it's super easy to do, or man, the first time I fail, holy cow, it's going to be really bad. And it may fail, and that's fine, but learn and move on to the next product. And that's the way, that's the way it is. And you got to realize, find the platform that works for you. Hey, JC. Yeah, JC, perfect thing. Started with stuff you had around the house. That's what I did. The first thing I sold was one of my a T-shirt that my daughter didn't wear any longer. It was a graphic T-shirt.
Now, those electrified fences that I started off with, that was back in, I want to say like 2003, where you could still send like money orders in the mail, and then you get your item shipped out. But about 2 years ago, what I was doing, I was going out with Alex, Fat Man the Flipper. We were going to yard sales, just looking for stuff. The things that I was going after were, $5 VCRs that you would find in yard sales. They're $5. You plug them in, you test it before you buy it, give the guy $5, $10, take the VCR, and it would sell great. Toys, things like that. Those are the things that I would always try to go and look for in yard sales. So
yeah,
yard sales, great.
Yeah, Kim makes a point. She says, I wasted so much time trying to figure out the profit I make after all the fees, the shipping, the taxes, the variety, cost of goods, before I list. Is that a mistake? No, it's not a mistake. That's not a mistake, actually. I mean, you really should have an idea, and I think what happens is you should be able to figure out stuff like, for instance, for me, if I'm going to put something on eBay, you know, by the weight you have an idea of how much something's going to cost, right? If you have something that's going to be about 7 or 8 ounces, you kind of know, what, yeah, hey, where I live in Georgia, if I'm selling that to California, that might be $4 or $5 to ship. For me, for selling fees, I just, off the top of my head, or if I get out my phone and I'm using the calculator on my phone, I do 15%. It's more than what the fees typically are, but you know what? For simple math, it's easy to know that if I'm going to sell this for $115 as it come off the top, not 14. Let me take 12.35%. Okay, then 20 cents on top of that, or 30 cents. And then it's an international sale. That's another 1%. I 15% period the end and move on. You know what I'm saying, along those lines. And you go from there. So I mean, I don't think it's a mistake that you do that, but I think it's something that get to the point to where you have a process to where you can look at something, hold it in your hand, and go, you know what? Yeah, this weighs probably about 6 ounces, but I'm probably gonna have to put it in a box, which means it's probably gonna push me over 8 ounces. So now I'm gonna be paying a 12-ounce rate. Have an idea of what that is, from that standpoint.
Cut the flaps.
Yeah. Cut the flaps, cut the lower flaps, the in-flop flaps, so on and so forth. Frankenbox, you don't want to ship air. Air costs a lot of money to ship.
Super expensive.
Yeah. It
but
does.
Look, Jeanette says, you do need printer, you do Amazon. There's some basic equipment that you do need for every platform. And that's true. But at the beginning, you don't really need to begin with a thermal printer. You know what I mean? I mean, for Amazon, if you're doing FBA, yeah. But if you're not, you're doing merchant fulfilled, then yeah, you really won't need to have a thermal printer. But having a thermal printer for me, once I finally got a thermal printer, because for a long time, I was printing them out on my HP NV printer, folding them, taping labels onto the boxes for a very long time.
Yep.
But now that I have thermal printer for the 4x6 shipping label, it's a complete game changer.
Yep.
Because when you find an item that's selling consistently with good velocity, there's no way that you're going to be printing those paper, the regular letter size papers, folding them in half, taping them to a box, you know what I mean, and not be able to pack as many products out. Basic things is what you need in the beginning. You're going to need to have a marker, you're going to need to have tape gun, you're going to need to have boxes, poly mailers, bubble mailers, those things that are basic, but they're very, very inexpensive.
Scale.
A scale, extremely.
Yeah. I mean, and you don't have to go out and buy, a $300, you be smart. Okay. If you're going to resell, maybe you find one out and, when you're reselling, I mean, when you're out there looking for product, you look to sell, look for the stuff that you can use to go ahead and improve your business. I mean, I found a little hand truck for one of those little folding hand trucks for $6 in Goodwill. That, my gosh, when I take my boxes to the UPS store, man, that thing is handy. So you're right. There are basic stuff that you need, but don't let certain things, stop you. I don't have a 4x6 thermal printer. There's nothing I could go ahead. No, you can. I mean, a lot of people now, I'll tell you one thing though, that they can be expensive. That's fine. And I know people talk about if you treat it like a business and you have it as a business, you can create, there are, is it UPS that will give you a label printer, or is it FedEx that might give you I don't know if they still do it. Do you know which one it was?
FedEx.
Yeah, FedEx would go ahead and give you a thermal printer for having a business account with them, But the thing is, I'll tell you this, what that could be part of your why. Okay, once you get in the reselling, you know what? I need to sell more so I can buy that thermal printer. I need to sell more because it's going to make life easier. And the one thing I tell you is, Oscar, you hit the nail on the head. Same thing with me. You don't realize the time you take in printing out, cutting, taping a label onto a box, or even if you go and buy the full sheet labels that you could put in your laser printer, you still have to cut them and peel them and something to go ahead and sit there and just boom, pull it, and you're done. I mean, it definitely goes ahead and helps you out a lot. It will help speed up your process.
In the beginning, it might not be necessary, but as soon as you've gotten, to a certain degree of sales, and then you have, some income coming in, you might want to invest a little bit into your business. That's when you know that you've already taken what it is that you're doing from being a hobby into a business.
Yep.
That's already, then you know that you're already wanting to grow. From there, it just continues to grow. Later on down the line, we'll talk about the kind of growth that you and me were talking about, before we started the show. But in the very beginning, the growth can be, just that, investing a little bit more, getting yourself these things, getting one of those foldable dollies, getting, a thermal printer for the labels, to make your process that much faster.
Yep.
And even farther later on, you might be investing in an air pillow machine or a tape machine, with the gummed paper tape.
Yeah.
So
most definitely.
Those are things that, I know a lot of people that swear by them, the paper tape machines. But, that's, those are in the beginning, those aren't necessarily, that important just to get started.
I think you're 100% correct. It comes with time and stuff.
Yeah, I think that, in the beginning, a person that's getting started, they need to just maintain that focus and then that commitment,
Right.
It will be a matter of time before they decide whether this is for them or if it's not, if this is going to be a hobby or if indeed is going to be a business. Now, just like most people, when you're getting started, when you make that decision, what is it that you want to accomplish with, the reselling business? So you'll decide if you're going to have an LLC or you're going to open up an LLC for your business. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that it comes with starting a reselling business, and this is not to give anybody advice, but anybody that's starting and is considering an LLC, speak to an accountant, speak to a CPA, to figure out how the tax, because you'll be surprised how fast these businesses, grow into something. And from the very beginning, a person always needs to be organized. You got to be 100%. You need to be organized in everything you do. You got to keep proper documentation of all of the paperwork for your business. Now you got your EIN. If you filed for, subsection 250-2553 from the IRS for an S corp, you got your tax resale certificate, you have your general liability insurance, so there are a lot of things, and that's part, of the learning process. In the beginning, when you're first starting out, it's not something that you're thinking about, but once you start to advance and, this is, what it is that I want to do, I want to turn this into a full-time, business, something that I can focus 100% on my time and treat it as, my day job and my night job, because you soon find out that you're not just working days when you're reselling, it's days and nights, and you know what I mean? But being organized from the very beginning is extremely important.
Well, and what that last point you made about, the time that you put in and stuff. And I think one of the things you will find out as you start to do this more is every place that you go, you will always look around and see if there is something. You go to Costco. I wonder what you go to be, you go to the beach, you go to the grocery store, you go anywhere, right? You go, you have to run to, the pharmacy to pick up, your prescription and everything. And all of a sudden, as you start walking through, you're like, I wonder if there's anything in here that I might be able to go ahead and resell. And you just start looking at places a lot different. It's not just a store. It's actually an opportunity to source. You know what I'm saying? So your mindset starts to change a little bit, and then it gets really bad when you go to friends' houses and you look around and you go, man, I can't believe that person has that old Nintendo. You know how much they could get for that?
My sister has a vintage Gundam figure that's like about $10,000, and she had no idea that she had it. It's in the box and everything. It's in terrible condition, but still, even in terrible condition, it's like $7,000, $6,500, $7,000 is what we saw the comps on eBay for it.
Yeah,
not selling it, but
yeah.
Start to see things like that. My sister has that.
I know, but I think it's it's one of those things where you have to.
This is my younger sister, by the way. But
oh wow!
I mean, look at that. That thing is
wow.
She gave me this. Her and her boyfriend.
Very nice.
It doesn't have a date on it. Oh yeah, 1969.
It's older than you.
My little sister. But you start looking everything a little bit different. You start to notice that supermarkets have clearance sections.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, Anthony, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Yeah, and like I said, I think if it's I think one of the things that, again, when you look at some of these people, when you go to these resale channels and you start watching their YouTube and stuff, and you see they have, 60,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, and they do these things and they're making it look so easy and stuff like that. You got to realize a lot of these people, they've paid their dues like everybody else.
Yeah, it's not that it's easy. It's definitely not easy. The concept is simple, 100%. Right. But easy and simple are two completely different things.
Yeah,
you're gonna get whatever you put into it. Whatever you put into, the time that you take, reselling, is what you're gonna get out of it. You know what I mean? Like me, for example, I haven't gone out to a store and sourced one day this week. I got people doing the bathrooms in my house, and I've been here. By the time the end of the day, it said I'm tired. I don't want to go nowhere. Right. But in the beginning of January, I had an amazing month. I did more in January to cover January and February. So, it's you're gonna get what you put into it. I didn't put anything this week. I can't expect to make $15,000 in sales this month, or anything like that. Nowhere close to it. Not saying that that's what I made in January. It's not what I made in January. But it's I can't expect to make thousands of dollars if I haven't put that work to get those thousands of dollars. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's about being consistent. It's about finding, finding avenues, finding time. But I think it's finding what you like. You know what I mean? Like, it's finding, don't be afraid to what do you want to say? Like, jump into not necessarily a niche, but don't be afraid to start off, not jumping in everywhere. And what I mean is, I'm going to do toys, and I'm going to do books, and I'm going to do CDs, and I'm going to do sneakers, and I'm going to do babies' clothes, and I'm going to do women's clothes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you're first starting, it's okay to go ahead and focus and keep that assortment smaller. And then add as you go along, because what you're going to find also is what it takes to list a used men's, pair of jeans versus a woman's pair of jeans versus a CD versus like someone like Anthony Pittsburgh. He's doing a lot of sports cards. What it takes to go ahead and list those, and then understand the different types of things that go along with it, measuring a guy's, measuring a guy's t-shirt, all right, it's like two measurements for a woman's pair of jeans. Women want to know about like 7 or 8 different measurements, right? So it's timing of what it takes and everything. So don't be afraid to go ahead and keep that assortment small so you can learn what it takes and what the picture should look like, and and what the descriptions should say to that, from clothes that you're seeing are being sold. When you're looking at and what you're planning on selling, don't look at what people are listing stuff for, because it doesn't mean crap. I can right now put this used black web mouse on eBay right now for $1 million.
You can?
I can. And I will have it until my great grandchildren are probably alive. Because no one's going to pay that, right? But
no, somebody will pay it, but then they'll buy it, but then they'll never pay for it. So
right,
it'll be an
it'll be returned.
Unpaid items case.
Right. It'll be returned because they're like, this is not as it was described. It should have gone ahead and had some gold in it, for crying out loud, for that price. But you know what I'm saying? So I mean, you have to, when you're doing your research on your products and everything, again, when you're starting out, it's okay to keep it narrow. Don't jump in and do stuff across the board and everything, and understand what it's going to take to not only list but also ship what you're going to be selling. I mean, if you want to get into coffee mugs because I watched a Gary V, and Gary V said mug life. Well, that's great, and you can sell coffee mugs, and it's amazing what some of them, you can find them for dirt cheap, and you can sell them for a really good ROI. I found one that had an airplane on it, a really old. I mean, it was an old one, but I found it for 50 cents and I sold it for $30 something. It took a while, and I was okay with that. But I also then had to ship it correctly so that my customer wasn't pissed off when it got to them, and if it was all broken and everything, right? So know what you're listing and know what it's going to take to get to your customer safely.
Yeah, not like the Facebook mug that I had to send to California that showed up in like 100 pieces. But no, definitely, you were saying about the different measurements and different size, and the whatever niche you're gonna get into, whatever kind of products, category of products you want to get into selling. They all take different things. If you're selling a lot of electronics and your electronics are used, that you're going to have to focus a lot of time on testing it unless you're selling it as is. If it's clothes, you're going to have to also take measurements, take proper measurements. But also depends on what platform you're selling on, because we have different platforms and a lot of things sell better on one platform versus the other. If you're going to be selling clothes, somebody might want to take a stab at Poshmark. Poshmark is good for selling clothes. I've sold things on Poshmark, but I quickly found out that selling clothes was not for me. Collectibles, electronics, those are the things that I mostly like selling. But for somebody else, it might be different. Who knows? There might be somebody that wants to focus on just selling grocery. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it all depends on which each one of those things takes different things. Even with sports cards, you said, because Anthony's doing sports cards. Sport cards, I know that sports cards, condition is very important to the people that are buying it. You know what I mean? They want to know what condition's in. You probably got to take better close-up pictures, or get the corners and whatnot. I don't know the process. I don't sell sports cards. But, you might want to have to take a little bit extra time into, your images and detailing and description on, the condition of the card that you're selling. You know what I mean? Unless you have it slabbed already. You got it in a PSA graded, then it pretty much, it's already graded for you. But, each niche has its own things that a person needs to learn and focus on if that's what it is they're going to be selling. But, for me, in my case, when I started selling, what I needed to learn first was the condition guidelines on Amazon for selling books. If it has markings inside of the pages, what condition guideline would it fall on when I was going to list it on Amazon, because, and even before you go that Amazon route, it's also important to know the terms of service, and learn the rules, right? And that's why I started through Amazon with books. First thing I did on Amazon was just list books. So I needed to learn Amazon's terms of service. I need to learn, what are the guidelines for selling books on Amazon before, I started moving into other categories of products. So last thing I wanted was for me to get my account shut down. I didn't want to get suspended or kicked off, banned from selling on Amazon. So I made sure that I was playing by Amazon's rules.
Yeah. No, you're 100% correct. I mean, knowing what you can and cannot do, knowing what you can and cannot sell, just because you have it in your possession does not mean 100% that you can sell it. I mean, it just doesn't. There are things that you cannot. I mean, there's all, and there's all kinds of things, and we've seen it, as things have changed, where things used to be able to be sold and now they can't be sold. So I mean, it's just the way it is. But like to your point, knowing the rules to the game of the platform that you are on. If you're going to just start out and you say, hey, I want to start out on eBay, you know what? Learn the things on eBay. Learn the things that you cannot, I don't want to say, I'm not using the word say, but the things that you cannot put in, in your titles, in your descriptions, the words that you cannot use so your listings don't get taken down. You can't use the word Velcro. You can't use the word onesie. You can't use, there are certain words that you cannot use, not because they're bad words, but it's because the people who own the word Velcro, they don't want you using it. They're not going to like it. So you will go ahead and get a listing taken down. I had a listing taken down. And it was probably about 6 months ago. And I've been doing this for a while. I knew I shouldn't do it, but you're in the haste. You're moving along like that. Hey, Velcro enclosure. Boom. Or Velcro strap, whatever it was. Next thing you know, not paying attention, the email pops up. Hey, we took down your listing.
Cease and desist.
Yeah. I'm like, what the heck? It's a friggin' pair of boy shoes. And I was looking at it, I was going, oh, crap. I put because it's a Velcro closure, not zipper or not hook and loop. It doesn't use late. So I think those are the things you have to know when you're first starting out. Is there are rules that you got to follow, and the easiest way to get kicked off of any platform, I don't care what platform it is, pick one. Doesn't make a difference. Pick a name, throw it out there. Go ahead and go against their terms of service, and you will see how quick you get shut down. Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I think what you'll find as you go along, for new sellers is that, certain platforms are not as forgiving. All platforms are not equally forgiving if you make a mistake. West Side, Gary, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for showing up. Much appreciated. You know what I'm saying? Whereas in Amazon, they you have to walk the line with Amazon. There's no Amazon, there's very little gray area at Amazon.
Yeah, that's why I think it's best for everybody to begin first selling on eBay. If you're thinking about starting a reselling business, I think I would suggest for anybody to start first with eBay. Amazon's not as forgiving. Amazon will suspend your account and then tell you why they suspended it and then make you work to get it back. If you're able to get it back.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point right there. The if.
Yeah.
And I think, we've all heard the stories and everything, we've heard the stories of the person who's only been selling for a week, and we've heard of people that have been selling for years, and you do something wrong, they drop the hammer. Well, I don't drop a hammer. They drop a sledgehammer on you, and they do, and then I think, I've heard from people who have had their accounts suspended and stuff like that. And if they have money, they have product tied up. It's not that easy to get that stuff back.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, you still have to go ahead and battle to do it and everything.
Yeah. When I got suspended the first time, well, only time.
I was going to say first time.
I've gotten close other times, but it's things that you learn. You know what I mean? It's not to be afraid, to sell on Amazon. Not at all. It's kind of, if you need to advocate for your business on Amazon, you got to be able to do so. you know. But when I got suspended, there was 600 and some change dollars tied up on a pending, payout. You know what I mean? I wasn't sure if I was going to get that back, and I was suspended for 2 weeks. So, it's you got to play by the rules. You're in Amazon's kitchen. You know what I mean? Yeah, you gotta follow the guidelines.
Yeah.
But it's not for anybody to be afraid. And it's like, hey, no, hold on. I mean, not sell on Amazon. No, go ahead, sell on Amazon. Start with books, and then learn the rules.
Yeah, and I think
rules.
Yeah, and I think the thing you have to realize is that there are, and again, looking at the new seller perspective, different platforms let you do different things as a new seller. Amazon restricts a lot of the categories that you can sell on when you're brand new. Where eBay may not stop you from selling in categories, they kind of limit how much you can do, like your exposure and stuff, right? Because they don't want you going ahead and so they'll put limits. They'll put selling limits on you. Now you can easily call them and work with them and get those limits raised and so on and so forth. But it's something that you have to, be aware of. Again, it goes back to knowing the platform and studying the platform. It's studying what you can sell on that platform, but it's also studying the platform. They go together. And, it's difficult to just jump on with no clue and not worry about going ahead and having a problem. Money from Mars, thank you for coming. Rules, we don't need no stinking rules. You're right, we don't, but unfortunately, other companies do, and they will hold our feet to the fire with them.
Yeah, that's the truth.
But I think when you're starting out, don't be afraid. I would say, thinking back with me, one of my biggest things is I got the proverbial analysis paralysis, man. Sit there trying to find the exact same thing that I was trying to sell and spending, an hour and a half trying to find it and find it and find it and find it, and not go ahead and do the most important thing that I had to do, which was get it listed so people can get their eyes on it.
Nobody likes listing.
Who?
Nobody likes listing.
Oh, yeah, nobody likes listing.
So that's another thing. And when it comes to listing, and all right, so you got your product, you already know what platform you want to sell on, the product that you're going to be selling. Next comes the next is you got to set up a listing process, right? You might want to have an area set up where you can take pictures. You might want to have some type of organized structure of where you're storing your inventory, unless you're sending into Amazon FBA. You know what I mean? But that whole process of listing is super important. And some people might want to knock out 20, 30 listings in a day. But as you're starting off, I think starting with 3 to 5 every day is perfect. You know what I mean? Until you get more comfortable with it. Like if you tell me now, how many listings can I do in an hour? And I'll tell you, I'll do 30 listings in an hour. No problem. Do I like doing it? No, I hate doing it. I'm going to be completely honest. Do I like doing it? No, I hate it. Right. But the reason I'll be able to do so many is because I already have all of my pictures taken. I know some people that they'll just take their pictures on their phone and they'll set it up on their phone and they'll save it as a draft and then, head to the computer and then finish up on the computer. You know what I mean? But it's important to have that process, that you're, the way that you're working. Pictures, I mean, the process can even start before you start taking pictures because depending on the item that you're selling, as we said before, if you're selling electronics, you're buying used, garage sale, yard sale, whatever it is, you might have to clean up, the items that you're selling, you might have to test a lot of the items that you're selling. So the process could begin before, but it's important that you have some type of, it goes back to being organized, right?
Yeah.
Some type of organized process for taking your pictures and getting ready for your listings and then listing.
Right. Well, I think you're right. You say, hey, you know what, I want to do electronics. Let's just say it, right. Oh, you know what, I hear, that there's good money in DVD VCR combos. Right. You hear that. That's great. You can go out to a garage sale and you find somebody who has one for $5 and you bring it home. If you don't have a DVD, if you don't have a VHS, if you don't have a TV to connect to it to make sure that all those parts and pieces work, oh well. Oh, I'm going to go buy a stereo. That's awesome. Go buy a stereo. That's sweet. That's awesome. You bring it home. You want to test it. You got speaker wire? You know what I mean? So when you're, again, when you're first starting and you're trying to look at what you want to sell, think about what it's going to take from the beginning to the end. Just sit down and say, okay, hey, I want to sell VCRs. What do I need to do? I need to test them. So to test them, wow, this VCR has RCA. It has, HDMI. Maybe it has, I don't know. Maybe it has, the composite video coming out. Well, you want to test all those things. And you want to have a TV that can accept you testing all those things. Because the last thing you want to do, hey, Sugar Plum Fairy, how you doing? Thanks for coming by. The last thing you want to do is you hook all that up and you say, well, I tested it. Well, how'd you test it? I used the red, the yellow, and the white, the RCA, and it works fine. Well, my TV at home doesn't have that. It only has HDMI. HDMI is not working. Maybe that's why it was only $1.45 at the garage sale, because part of it's not working. So when you're going to test, when you're going to get into whatever it is you're going to get into reselling, again, like I said, the one thing that a lot of people don't do is that they don't say, okay, what is it going to take for me to get this to my customer and that they're going to be happy? Think about that piece. Think about what that takes. And it's all the little things that you don't think about. You walk in, you see something. Oh my gosh, there's a coffee machine right there for $7.45. I looked it up on eBay and they sell for $95. Great. You take it home. You take your pit, you clean it, you take it, you put it on your pictures and everything. You sell it, you ship it. Customer gets it. It doesn't work, then you do a return. Why? Because you didn't plug it in and test it and make sure that you could make a cup of coffee, right? So whatever it is you're going to do, you have, again, think about what it's going to take to get it to your customer and all the parts and pieces that go into it. No, that's like, to me, that's the foundation of, that was one of the things that I, that took a while to go ahead and realize when you don't think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got to take into consideration that once you get that return, you're into that product more than, you were before until you sell it again.
Yep.
Well, that's why, being organized and then having a process is, very important, because it then becomes like fluid. You know what I mean? The whole process becomes, so much simpler. It comes naturally, once you have, the items and you already know what it is. Like mine is super simple. I have a 32 by 32 by 32 light box in my garage plugged in. And if I need to take pictures, I know that I have everything set up right next to it. I take all of the pictures that I need. So in the last picture for each item is always the UPC. So once I get that, I set it to a side and I put it away. And then my camera is hooked up through Wi-Fi. So my camera that I'm taking pictures, I'm gonna show you guys my camera.
Oh, Jennifer Hayes, thanks for coming.
Be a crazy camera, right? This camera was dusty, but you know what I mean. It's fine. This camera takes great pictures. You know what I mean.
What kind of camera is that?
It's a Canon SX540HS. This was $250. Before that, I was just taking pictures on my phone. But I saw that with this camera, I can adjust the ISO that would take better pictures from my phone because of the sensitivity that my iPhone has towards light in my light box. So with a camera like this, I'm taking better pictures. So this is something else that, is also possibly someone want to invest in the future to improve their pictures. A good camera. But once my camera, I've taken all my pictures of all of my products. I hit the Wi-Fi button, which is this little button right here. It's got a little button right there. That button right there, and it links directly to my router, and it uploads all of my pictures to my Google Drive. From my Google Drive, I just edit the pictures. I adjust. I remove the background sometimes using another software, and then I just upload the pictures as I'm doing the listing. So that's my process. Some people may have a better process, their own process, but that's the way that I do it. That's the way that I like doing it, because I can edit all my pictures before I upload it. Some people will just take the pictures directly with their phone. As I said before, create the draft, save the draft, and then finish it on their desktop.
Hola, spicy curry. Must be Steph's younger sister, younger brother, or maybe it's his sister. Who knows? But I like the idea. What you said is that the last picture is the UPC, so that when those pictures download, okay, this picture right here is a UPC. The next 5 pictures, the 6th picture is a UPC. You grab those 6 pictures and they go into the listing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Perfect. Perfect process there. I mean, it's a great way to go ahead and do things, because it does boil down the process. It boils down to keeping it simple in the beginning. Before you actually start to get deeper in and those type of things. But again, I think we're getting at that time frame of an hour. And I would say, Sugar Plum Fairy, what do you think is the best way to sell antique sterling silver jewelry? You see that name just above yours in the chat, Jennifer Hayes? She is a jewelry selling queen. I would honestly ask her.
I was about to say YouTube auctions.
Yeah. Because that's one of those categories that I would have no idea how to sell in.
Because
I could see myself losing a lot, not necessarily losing a lot of money. I could see myself losing a lot of profit by underselling stuff that I have no idea about in that category. Yeah. You're too humble, Jennifer.
No, but see, I mean, when you put in the word antique, that already takes a lot of options off, so I just eliminated it down and narrowed it down. I mean, but then again, there are people that will find antique jewelry and just like, oh, you know what? I'm going to scrap it. There are people like that. I wouldn't. You're going to ask me what I would do in antique jewelry? I'll probably melt it.
Oh, no. Jennifer and Sugar Plum, you did not hear that.
No, I'm just kidding. I would keep it. I know that silver is something that's valuable and it's going up.
Yeah. Silver right now is not a bad thing to have. But hey, as we go ahead and and wrap up here, I would say, to kind of recap, look, it's okay to start off with a why. Don't just go into it again. And the why does not have to be super big. The why can be, I want to make a couple $100, a month, just to put away in the bank for the future, right? It could be, it could be anything. Your why is your why. Okay. Number 1 right there. Number 2, I would say, look, start small, start with stuff around your house. When it comes to picking out product, don't extend money that you may not have right now, but in getting stuff. Number 3 would be learn the platform you're going to sell on, and don't learn it by necessarily, just watching somebody else, on YouTube about selling on platform A. If that's what you want to sell on, go there, go to the FAQs, go to the help section, learn that type of stuff, because again, you're just a guest in their house. and they can kick you out whenever they want. Okay, you're not a family member now. You're not the long lost brother moving back home. You're just a guest, and if they need to go ahead and they need to,
They let you in. They didn't invite you in. They let you in.
they let you in. And don't be afraid to go ahead and fail. Failure is a part of this business, and failure ranges in all different ways. But don't just dust yourself off, get back up, and jump right back into it and everything.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that failure is you've only really failed the moment that you've given up.
Right.
So yeah, you get back up and you continue. And it's just like you were saying with the why. Everybody needs to know what it is that they're planning to accomplish. And with that, once they know what they want to accomplish, they can start setting goals. I'm a huge believer on setting goals. You know what I mean? You set small, short-term, measurable goals that lead up to a larger goal in the long run. And that is the key to growth. You know what I mean? You're gonna see the fruits of the effort that you put into it if you're setting goals and you're putting effort into reaching those goals.
Right. Yeah, and I think your beginning here's one thing you have to remember when you're first starting off. You go on to YouTube and you start looking at these, for lack of better words, big resellers. Remember something. Yes, Jennifer, please go ahead and drop your link. That no issues whatsoever. Your beginning is where you are. You could be watching somebody who is well down the road from you, many years. There are people who've been reselling their whole life. There are people that are reselling, 20 years. That may be their middle. They're not even near their end, but you're at your beginning, right? So be smart, and know where you are, know who you're watching. Take as much information as you can from them, but remember the amount of work that they have probably put in if they've been doing this for a lot longer than you. Don't judge your beginning against somebody else's middle. It's a good way to go ahead and get yourself down. And then even as you join and you meet other people and you become friends with other people, it's myself, Oscar, Alex, Jordan, Craig, Jennifer, Pittsburgh, all these, Gary, all these people that you see, in the chats and everything, we're all at different stages. We're all at different levels. And the thing is that it's easy to go ahead and look at someone else that's been doing this for a lot longer. And here comes Louis, the Lone Star Picker. Hey, Louis. It's easy to go ahead and look at other people and go, oh my gosh, that person is so successful. I'm never going to go ahead and get there. Guess what? If they're 5 years into this, 5 years ago, they probably sat there and were like, wow, look how successful that person is. I don't know if I could ever get there, right? So don't worry about it. Know where you are. Have an idea of where you want to go, and then come up with a plan to get you there. That is what will go ahead and help you. Just keep a level head, keep going, don't give up, and keep trying, and you'll get there. You will definitely go ahead and get there.
I'm telling you, my accountant told me the first time I filed my taxes for my business, it's like, make sure you keep good records because you'll be surprised how fast the online reselling businesses can grow. And I'm glad that, he gave me a sheet, an Excel form that helped me, keep track of all of my expenses. Because this past year in tax time, I would have been completely lost if he hadn't have given me that. Life is blessed, brother. Slow steps, keeping humble, and doing the best one can in a full day's work. That's what's up. That's right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a matter of getting started. And when nobody learned, Nobody learned to sprint before they learned to walk, before they learned to crawl.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, you got to crawl, then you get on your feet, and then you get walking, and you pick up a little bit of speed, and then you jog, and then you're running, and then you're like, holy cow, I can't believe I'm doing this.
You were driving when I was crawling, Mike.
Shut up, man. That's not right. Oh, man. So, hey, with that, let's go ahead and wrap it. Let's wrap this up. Oscar, what you got going on, man? Anything? What are we promoting?
This Saturday, 9 p.m. on Fat Man the Flippers channel, Bad Boys of Reselling. Everybody who is familiar with the Bad Boys of Reselling show that we have on Saturday nights, for those that aren't, it's kind of, we touch a little bit on reselling, but then we talk a lot about, a bunch of other stuff, staying focused, being passionate, things that you're passionate about. It's a lot of positivity, a lot of motivation, and then it all goes downhill from there. It's the truth, right? So 9 p.m. on Fat Man the Flippers channel. Come check us out. It's 9 p.m. Eastern. Next week we're gonna have this show on my channel, the Wednesday night show.
The Wednesday night show.
That show on Wednesday. The resetting show that happens on Wednesday. We don't know what it is that we're gonna name the show, but it's gonna be on my channel. Same time, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, we may go like Prince and be called the show formerly known as That Reselling Show. I mean, it worked for him. Who knows?
Yeah, and we have a combination of like the eBay logo, the Amazon logo, Mercari, Bitcoin in there, and that's the symbol.
Yeah. So with me, you guys, if you're not familiar, my son and I have a trading card channel. It is called Huddle Card Collection. In the description is our our link to our YouTube and our link to our Instagram, where we we do card opening videos and mail videos, and we're going to start growing the channel a little bit more. Hopefully, doing some sports cards auctions or trading card auctions and stuff like that. We're hoping to get into. It's a lot of fun. It's cool doing it, with my son and everything. It's a lot of fun, and it's just a lot of fun to do. It's great and everything. And like Oscar said, we're gonna keep coming back. Please, we are looking for people to come on the show. Part of this, part of it also is to, as we start going, more and more, is to help expand the thought process. So you're running a resale business. And what can I resell, right? So what we want to do is, some of you people that are out there that some of the people that are out there, you guys do things. Anthony, Pittsburgh, hey, one day we'd like to have you on. You and Nate, talk about sports cards, talk about trading cards. It's another avenue for people to learn. Jennifer, we'd love to see your voice online with your jewelry and your, and all that kind of stuff. And everybody, with different things. We want to get different people on, give people the information, because, there's so much stuff. There's so many ways to source product that would be nice for people to at least just have an idea of how to source those products, and open up avenues for people, So with that, you got it, Anthony. With that, thank you so much for coming. We really do appreciate it. We appreciate you guys taking time out of your Wednesday to go ahead and come out and hang out with us. Again, use the comment section in this video after it goes live to ask questions, get on the show. We're looking to go ahead and keep, doing bigger and better things. All righty. Oscar, thanks a lot, buddy.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man. And everybody else, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. Have a